Hello and welcome to the channel. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has again spoken out against the elections conducted several weeks ago. OBJ had similarly criticized the presidential election when he asked that President Buhari order the election to be repeated, especially in areas of gross manipulations. Baba no get anything good to say, I swear. But make I knock una with the details of the gist. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. 2023 polls. Show of shame. Obasanjo. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo Thursday described the just concluded elections in the country as a painful show of shame, saying that efforts should be made by patriotic Nigerians to correct it and not allow it to repeat itself. Chief Obasanjo said he is too old to keep quiet and watch the country launch into a dystopia, and that efforts are required from well-meaning, uncommitted patriots to rescue the nation from the precipice. The former president said this as a guest of honor at a public lecture series tagged From Elections to Governance and Performance in Abuja. He lamented that the country is currently more divided and corroded than what its founding father had in mind. Also speaking, the founding partner of next year SPD, Patrick Okigbo, said that election promises can only be implemented if the civil servants that are supposed to drive it were reformed. The event, put together by next year SDP, also witnessed the public presentation of a book, The Unending Quest for Reform, an intellectual memoir authored by Professor Tunji Olaopa. Obasanjo said with the current situation on ground, it will not be out of place for a national reconciliation which will assuage the feelings of aggrieved Nigerians, particularly the youth population. He criticized the growing debt profile and spending spree of government at all tiers, especially those at the helm of affairs currently, likening the situation to spending like a drunken sailor. Obasanjo, however, advised that for reforms to take root, there must be political will and concerted efforts to drive it by all stakeholders in Nigeria. On the issues of reforms, he said governance in Nigeria now calls for thinking outside the box in terms of development financing. According to him, this trend of thinking has become inevitable in the face of Nigeria's dwindling fortune in oil revenue, Nigeria's huge foreign indebtedness, and the urgency of diversifying Nigeria's new cultural economy. He said, "Let me suggest 3 ideas that I think can enrich the direction of the conversation here today. 1. Given what we saw during the election, Nigeria is now even more divided and more corroded than we thought. This places a deep onus on any administration following the current one to urgently facilitate the process of national moral rearmament and national reconciliation that the potential will enhance skills for the aggrieved and will lead us across Nigeria and to assuage the youths. This must be done in sync with the imperative of national value orientation that Nigeria requires to build a collective sense of enduring and local values and national belonging. 2. Governance in Nigeria now calls for thinking outside the box in terms of development financing. This has become inevitable in the face of Nigeria's dwindling fortune in oil revenue, Nigeria's huge foreign indebtedness, and the urgency of diversifying Nigeria's new cultural economy. We cannot be spending like a drunken sailor on frivolities and corruption and expect development and growth. Such a situation cannot take us into the 4th industrial revolution already underway. My experience and understanding, however, is that the money to develop and grow our economy is out there if we provide a conducive environment for it to come and stay. 3. Political will, political action, and administrative efforts must be invested in reforming the public service into a capability-ready institution that could enable Nigeria's development agenda beyond 2023. All of these and more are necessary to correct and not to repeat the sickening and painful show of shame that the elections of 2023 generated into. Let me conclude by stating clearly that I am now too old to keep quiet and watch Nigeria's seemingly clueless launch into dystopia. All efforts are now required from all well-meaning and committed patriots to rescue the nation from the precipice. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. Continuing, he said, when I look at the audience, I have a feeling that among the people who can do it and who must do it are some of you here. It has become my own personal obligation, continuing in my relentless service as a letterman, dedicated in my twilight years to say the truth as I see it, so as to push Nigeria in the direction of our collective aspirations. What is our collective aspiration? A better society where all Nigerians can become what the Almighty God is destined to be. At times like this, some of us have to adopt the attitude of being known to be blind and not being afraid of the dark, but we must continually work for the light of all. He congratulated the author of the book, Professor Tunji Olaopa, for continuing to labor on behalf of the Nigerian public service and adding the significant intellectual memoir to his huge collection of publications and to the annals of administrative reforms in Nigeria. Speaking to journalists at the occasion, Okigbo noted that reforming the civil service was necessary to drive electoral programs and promises that would better a lot of all Nigerians. Okigbo said it is one thing to have a political will as a leader and another thing entirely to translate the will into actionable projects, which is what reforms are all about. According to him, every 4 years we go to elections, politicians make promises of what they want to do, and at the end of the day, not a lot happens. It is not because these politicians are bad people. It is not because they do not want to do stuff. It is basically because all the electoral promises will have to be delivered by the public service, the civil servants, the political appointees. If the civil service does not have the capacity to deliver on these promises, they will remain mere promises. So what we are attempting to do here is to convene leading scholars, leading practitioners, leading policy advocates, development partners, etc., to say what is the pathway for reforming Nigeria's public service. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.